Most of the time, the way people are told to start a piece of knitting is to begin with a slip knot. So we're going to cover a few different ways to make a slip knot. If you simply like working with your hands, with things in your hands, then this is one way to do it. You take here's the tail from the end of a yarn ball. You're just going to cross that and make a little loop, and then travel through the loop and pick up this piece of yarn, and you end up with what's called a slip knot. It's called a slip knot because if you pull on both ends, it will come undone again. Let's do that again. I'm going to call this the short tail, the tail that actually is the very end of the ball. This is the rest of the ball of yarn. I'm going to cross the long one over the short one, make a loop, move that loop over so that it encompasses a piece of the long tail, and pick up the center. And you have a slip knot, and you can double check by pulling on both ends, and out it goes. Some people like to do this on the needle. Hold your needle like in a cross position over the yarn. Again, this is the very end. This is the end attached to the ball of yarn. Cross over once from left to right over the top of the needle. Cross under and over. Pull that first loop over the second loop. Shall we do that again? Place your needle over the yarn. Move the left-hand tail from left to right over the needle. Hold it there. Take the right-hand tail under the needle tip, and then back over the top, left to right. You have two loops over the needle. Pull the first one over the second one and off the needle. Pull on the ends to tighten. That's your slip knot. I used to teach a lot of kids, and this is often what we would do for learning the slip knot. Make your hands to a little trigger, little shape like this. Lay the short tail over the front of your fingers. Long tail is to the back. Cross the long tail over so that there's an X. If you're thinking of this as a gun, this is the barrel of the gun. Go down the barrel of the gun and pull that thread that's behind right back out the barrel. That's what makes your loop. Test it, out it comes. Let's do it again. Make your little finger gun. Lay the short tail over the front. Cross till you have an X. Go down the barrel of the gun and grab this thread that's back here. Pull it through the barrel. Drop the ends and you have a slip knot. And all you do with any of these methods is then you put it on the needle. You pull on the ends to tighten. And that is the first stitch you will use in most kinds of cast-ons. I did this for many years, and then I observed someone who did not use a slip knot to start their cast-on, and that is also perfectly acceptable, and it is now what I do. So we'll discuss that in the next lesson when we want to do a long tail cast-on, but just to show you, you can always just twist the yarn around the needle to start. That is enough to secure it, actually. So that's just something to remember. Whatever makes you feel good at the time is perfectly acceptable. They're all going to disappear really into the end fabric, so it doesn't matter. But that's just something to consider. And if you see someone doing this, you see a twist like this, or I often have my fingers in like that. I put a little twist in. All of these things seem like magic when you have never done them and you've never seen them. Just play around with sticks and string, and actually these things do become more clear. But that is an option. Okay, that's a slip knot.